Welcome back to the Sleepy Boys reviewing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The last time you joined me and Jose for this shindig, the Green and Blue Rangers, Tommy and Billy, finally made their way back to their own world, and an unexpected guest came with them in the form of Lord Draken. And we pick up now with, the aftermath of everything that went down over the last couple of days for the Power Rangers.
C.
Alright, Jose is bringing out his full extent of his knowledge on Spanish today.
Yep, that's it. That's all I get.
We're once again started off with Bulk and Skull, talking about the good that's come from the Power Rangers coming back together, and they're really starting to step it up and repair the damage that's been done. And during their little podcast video thing, they share a segment of a scientist working at Promethea, which has plans for helping threats like Rita Repulsa. What that equates to is kind of vague, right? But she says she wants to help the Power Rangers to make the world a better place. And while Grace is talking about making the world a better place, the Power Rangers themselves aren't exactly having a quiet time. They're out on missions across various, not only countries and stuff on Earth, they're on alien planets now too.
Yeah.
So Jason is basically spending all of his time running the Rangers ragged, trying to save everyone. They're trying to make sure that nobody ever has to worry again.
Yeah, he's basically playing Overwatch for him.
Yeah, he's
not like the video game Overwatch, but I mean, you know what I mean by Overwatch. He's overseeing any comms of disasters that are going on basically around the universe.
Yeah, and he says, "I want to be Tracer."
yes, he does.
So the Rangers even themselves call him out, and they're like, "Hey, Jason, we all need a break, because we've been running ragged, and you haven't slept in a while. But it's all coming together again. Everyone's kind of the world is feeling a brief sense of safety.
Yeah."
Rita hasn't really done anything in a while, and everyone's kind of just holding on to that oh my god, is it over? And the Rangers are, of course, trying to bring Zordon back from wherever the hell he ended up when he disappeared. Tommy and Billy, as I mentioned, are the two Rangers that got sent to Draken's world and made it back. And they get this new competitive edge to them because they now know that they're dealing with multiversal threats, not just space witches. And they get competitive with their own alternate selves, So they're at the gym working out, and Tommy's like, "Okay, one last rep," and Billy's like, "All right, one more rep," and then Tommy's like, "I bet Lord Draken would do another set," and Billy's like, "Yeah, I bet the other dead me would also do another set," and
yeah. Good motivation, though, to be honest.
It is good motivation, and meanwhile we're dealing with Kimberly fighting with her mom because her mom's a bitch.
Sure, but her parents split up.
Bitch. So one of the things that we get a lot more of the backstory on it, but basically Kim's parents get a divorce very shortly after moving to Angel Grove, and Kimberly is behaving as any normal child would when they find out that their parents are splitting up and don't love each other anymore. And she's like, "Can you guys both just stop being petty aggressive people towards each other?"
Mm-hmm.
And of course Kim's mom's being a bitch.
You need to get with Dad.
You need to stop it. And thankfully Kimberly is saved by Trini. she hits up Trini, and Trini's like, "Yeah, let's go, girl. Let's go sit on that pterodactyl plane you got, and just blow off some steam. You know, like maybe explore each other's bodies a little bit." But you know, all good things must come to an end, and they get called in for another major mission. Like a whole ass building collapsing, and the Power Rangers catching it with their Megazords. Which, interestingly enough, isn't even like the climax of the story in this issue. It's that Grace has found the Power Rangers and is like, "Hey, let's talk." You know.
Yeah, I was suspicious about her, and I was trying to figure out who she was. But it's fun.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like this story arc is great for a couple of reasons. One, Grace Sterling is fucking awesome, but also we get a lot of Finster.
We do is another reason why I like this arc, but just the whole pacing and I would say more character development and how they've changed.
It's also just on a grand scale.
Yeah, just a grand scale. So it's a good arc.
Yeah,
very good arc.
So Grace, as we mentioned, runs Promethea, and Promethea is actively working on finding ways to fight Rita and her like posse of evil, and B, she is able to they're tracking things that have been happening since Rita went missing, and the number one culprit of who stuck around is Finster. And as we know, Finster is the monster maker. He loves creating for the sake of creating. He views each of his monsters as an art piece, right? They're not just mindless drones. And I love that. I vibe with that pretty hard.
Yeah, that's more villain aura than anything.
Right. He's not creating things to be evil. Yes, the intentions of the creatures he makes are usually evil, but he's not like, ha ha ha, this guy's gonna be so fucking evil. It's more of just like, ha ha, I'm giving you free will, do with it as you want.
And it's also, he's being we'll find out later in the right. arc and in this comic, but he's being more strategic of it. There's a method to his madness rather than unleash all the chaos, kind of
right. He's
I'm gonna show all my power at once.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to long term the goal. So his current project that he's working on is an entire village. He's somehow gotten this entire village in where is it?
Romania?
I don't know. I don't think they specify exactly. It just says that it's something like it's out of Dracula. But basically, Finster has taken over an entire medieval village type thing, and all of the villagers are kind of like, "Oh, you're here to see the master."
Almost mindless.
And Finster is just like, "Hey guys, it's me.
You found me.
I'm the cute, adorable dog-looking guy. You wouldn't hurt a little dog. Come have dinner with me." And they're like, "What? No." And he's like, all right. You guys want to see what happens around here? And all of the villagers, he releases their monster form. So he basically has an entire army of putties that just materialize from these villagers. And he has two very special ones that turn into a warthog and an armadillo type thing.
Fuck, what was it?
Carmadillo?
Yeah, I can remember.
Yeah, Carmadillo and the Borlock. That's right. The Borlock. So the Borlock and Carmadillo show up from again just reshaping from a couple of the villagers, and they start wailing on the Power Rangers, and the Power Rangers are like, all right, okay, so some of us are gonna fight the pig and the warthog, or the pig and the armadillo. And Jason and Tommy, you guys go find the actual, like, civilians, because they realize that all of the villagers had the same faces. Which meant that means that there had to have been some kind of, like, original model. And because the Power Rangers are, you know, for the most part, a pretty smart bunch of kids, they quickly figure out that in order to kill the Borlock and Carmadillo, they just needed to have Borlock and Carmadillo fight each other. So they use Borlock's evil magic powers and freeze the evil Carmadillo, and then just punch the pig in the face. So anyway, look, it's like Finster doesn't get away with it. They're like, dude, we've got you beat. Just admit it. It's okay. You know, everyone loses sometimes. And so he gives up pretty easily. Finster's like, look, I don't really need to worry about you guys because well, I've got more out there. I'm not going to tell you how many more I've got out there. Matter of fact, I'm not going to tell you where I sent all of them. And it's revealed that there has now been attacks all over the world. Finster has released some of his little cretins out into the wild and just let them run rampant.
What a G.
What an absolute unit. And then we jump right into it. Like, we have different places around the world where people are turning into moles and shit. And of course, you know, we need some of the side story of Kimberly and her divorced parents and who's happier and oh, look, it's Tommy. Hey, Tommy, come have awkward lunch with me and my daughter. You think my daughter's cute, Tommy? You guys should date.
You guys should procreate.
And Tommy's just like, man, I was just here for a smoothie. And he's like, you know, my ex-wife used to love smoothies. And then, thank God, Alpha calls and says there's giant monsters attacking the city.
What is this? I like his comment, like, oh, look, it's cute. You two have the same ringtone.
Yeah. God. Gross parent things. And Billy and Trini, because they're besties and they do everything together because they're smart, because he's a smart guy and she's Asian, and they correspond so well. Billy's running around a lot. Billy's trying to get stronger, be a better Power Ranger overall. But meanwhile, his mom is like absolutely terrified that something terrible is going to happen to him for a second time.
I mean, she's not wrong.
I mean, what is it about moms and like media caring about their kids and shit? Like, what even is that? Like, what even is the point? Like, we're watching My Hero Academia right now, and gosh, Izuku's mom just won't fucking let him, like, go. She's
I know, right?
She's like,
having
oh
a mother that cares about your safety.
Oh my God, you almost died. Please don't go back to that school where you'll almost die all the time. And he's like, man, Mom, you're a bitch. And then he went anyway. I'm sorry.
That's not at all how that went down, but almost.
Yeah, almost.
Like 75%.
But almost.
Anyway, so Billy is trying to figure out ways to improve being a ranger, and his mom is just like, God, I hope he doesn't like fucking almost die again. Which is ironic considering how much he does almost die constantly.
A lot, yeah.
That she don't even know about. And the problem is now with the Rangers, they're trying to stay on top of all of these attacks around the world, right? But there's not enough Ranger to go around. So they've got people popping up in like Spain and Toronto at the same time, and they've got to deal with both of them somehow. despite being overpowered.
Outnumbered.
They're getting their asses beat. Was what I'm getting at. You've got this. What was it? Oh, the goth sloth. That's what it is. Not the emo mole. You got this fucking goth ass. You got this goth ass sloth that slows. Like his power is to slow people down, which I think is fucking rad.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a giant crow that shoots lightning at you. And man, one thing about this series is they do a phenomenal job of like creating monsters.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the TV show, like it was cool and all, but like this comic, because it was like, because everything's original, it's just it's great. I love it. I don't know what the crow's name was supposed to be. I couldn't find that. I scrolled and I scrolled, but nothing
I don't
said.
think they said it. Yeah.
Oh, Croverload. His name is Croverload, which is
then I overlooked that. Okay.
it's just so on brand for Power Rangers villains. So after they finally they realize once again, like, hey, why don't we use one of the villains to knock out the other villain? Then we can all work together on one villain again, right? And they end up beating them both. The goth sloth gets zapped by the Croverload, and then the Rangers just beat the hell out of it. And then they sit down to question Finster, and they're like, listen, you little schnauzer ass bitch, where are they? And he's like, I don't know. Where are they? And he's just like, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know. I don't keep track of them. I let them loose in the world, and my God, I've been doing this for so long. I don't know how many there are even anymore. I've lost count. And
good dad.
And on top of that, I gave these guys so much free will that I can't call, like, I couldn't call on them if I wanted to. They'll just activate when they activate. And the Rangers are like, well, fuck. Don't know how to deal with that, because like that's a lot. And as they're trying to figure out what the hell to do, the doorbell rings. The doorbell to their super secret fucking lair in the middle of nowhere is rang. And standing on the outside is none other than Grace Sterling herself, looking hardcore. And she's just like, hey, listen, time to talk, because I used to be a Red Ranger.
But after she just like name drops Alpha.
Name drops Alpha, name drops Zordon. Like, she knows exactly who, like, she knows everything she needs to know. And they're like, what do you mean you were the Red Ranger? And then we get a great, absolutely phenomenal side story. I usually take the side stories out when we're talking about things. This is one I kept in place because of the perfect timing. So we get,
I'm glad you kept that in, because it was really great.
Yeah.
Just adding on to that.
Yeah. Don't worry. The ones that I pluck out, I have planned later on down the road. So we teleport back in time to the year 1969. We are witnessing man's first step on the moon. And that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. Now, with this, humanity has stepped foot on the moon, and a proximity alarm goes off on a spaceship that's being piloted by the Green Psycho Ranger. For those of you that don't know who the Psycho Rangers are, they are Power Rangers in spaces, like big evil guys. The Psycho Rangers was like the most original concepted, like, evil Rangers, because like they had evil Rangers in previous seasons, but they're always just like exact copies of the Rangers of that season. Whereas the Psycho Rangers, they're their own, like, armor, their own appearance, all of it. The green one, however, is a Boom Studios exclusive. He did not come from the TV show. There wasn't even a green Space Ranger, if you recall.
Oh, okay. So that brings me to my next question.
Go for it.
Later when we get there.
Okay.
When you show it.
Sure. So, the Green Psycho Ranger wakes up on his spaceship after probably being in hibernation for quite some time. Now, a young woman by the name of Grace is sitting on the roof of NASADA. NASADA is the Power Rangers equivalent of NASA. And they're talking about the major success of the moon landing and what that's going to do for their careers. And while her homeboy Marcus is chit-chatting, Grace just disappears. And finds herself in a room full of, well, a lot of different people. You got somebody from Great Britain, somebody from America, you know, obviously Grace. You got a soldier, a Russian, and a hippie dude, I think.
Yep.
And they're all like, what the hell's going on? And Zordon is like, hey, welcome humans. I am Zordon, and you are all gonna save the world. There's this big evil alien guy on the moon, and you're gonna fly on up there, and you're gonna kill him. Here are your power morphers. Good luck. Hopefully this doesn't go bad for you.
Hopefully.
And we get some really cool Ranger outfits here. So, I just got a huge hair in my mouth. All right, so the Red Ranger is Grace. Grace is the Red Ranger for her team. The Russian is blue. The other girl is black. The soldier is the Yellow Ranger, and then the hippie dude is the Pink Ranger. And he's actually not very happy about that. He's like, ooh, gay, because it's 1969. And then, they don't really get any time to adapt to what they're doing now before Alpha just teleports them to the moon and wishes them the best of luck.
Yeah.
And they actually... Yeah, they teleport, like, right next to Rita's dumpster, too. And, but yeah, Rita's dumpster is just there. They don't do anything with it. And after, like, they land on the moon, they're kind of just, like, blown away by the majesty of it. You know, because, like, you're literally standing on the surface of the moon.
Not all of them.
Well, yeah, no, there's some people that are just like, I don't want to be here. And the Russian guy's like, I'm ready to kick some ass. And, the term underprepared doesn't feel strong enough for what happens here. So Psycho Green shows up and he's just like, those gotta be Power Rangers. And just immediately begins to fuck shit up. Very quickly overpowers the Black Ranger, knocks her the fuck down. The Blue Ranger gets his ass whooped, and then the Black Ranger gets smashed with a rock, with like a boulder.
Yeah, like, he's gone.
Like, absolutely no mercy. He then smashes the visor off of the Pink Ranger. Keep in mind, again, they are in space. Like, homeboy died.
Yeah.
And then Psycho Green's just like, look, man, I've got more tricks up my sleeve. And just starts zapping them with energy. And then the Rangers have to form, like, an incomplete power blow. Like, you know, the power cannon, right? When they combine everything to one. Well, they only have, like, 3 of the parts of it that they need. So it's not complete by any means, but they give him a solid blast. And then he powers up and turns into a fucking demon.
So I didn't watch all of the shows. Like I said, like I've watched some of the original and then up to Rangers in Space.
Right.
Did the Psycho Rangers ever transform like this?
Kind of. Their natural form was actually the monster form.
The monster form first. Okay.
Oh God, it's complicated with that because depending on the source, like in the comics, if I remember right, there's some of them that are like actual aliens, but they also have the option to power up to monsters. But I don't know which one's the original form.
Okay.
But they do have the option of turning into giant monsters. And like, when you're faced off, first of all, you're in space. You watched a dude that was normal size kill 2 of your teammates pretty easily. And then he just got bigger and eviler. Like, at what point do you cut your losses and just...
It just, yeah. You're just like, alright, that's it.
I'm out. Thank you, no thank you. Peace. And so they run towards the only structure on the moon that they see, which just happens to be the abandoned Rita palace, right? And they're just like, okay, here's a cannon. Let's just rip it up out of the ground and shoot it at the monster. Which
is fucking pretty badass.
I mean,
honestly.
Yeah, and the Blue Ranger, I haven't done him justice. His name's Nikolai, and he's actually kind of a badass. He's Russian, so you know during this time it's the Cold War, and there's a lot of distrust between America and Russia at the time. But Nikolai's just like, okay, Grace, check it. Today's the day we save the Earth. Just make sure it's a world that's worth saving. And then he fucking jumps into the giant green monster's mouth and blows his ass up from the inside.
What a fucking legend.
Like, look, there has been sacrifice in Power Rangers before. Like, there have been a few Rangers that have given up their power. Shit, Zordon committed he sacrificed himself to purify the entire universe. Sure. But like, there's no one that's been such a badass that they jump into the open mouth of a giant monster in space and just shoot him up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Nikolai unfortunately dies, which means that when they return home, it is 2 of the 5 Rangers they left the planet with. The Yellow Ranger didn't really do much at all, and he feels guilty. And Zordon's just like, you know what? It's not your fault. It's mine. And Grace is like, no shit. No shit. It's your fault that these people all died. And Zordon's like, well, next time. And they're like, no, there ain't going to be a next time. Peace. But as they leave the command center, Grace reveals that she has a super special secret awesome thing that she brought back from the moon. And that is the dagger that the Green Psycho Ranger had been carrying.
Wonder what she's gonna use that for.
Fisting herself.
Oh.
So, that's right. This is when that fucked up art style takes over. I'm sorry. Issue 21 through 24 of this series, I absolutely hate the art style, and I'm sorry, Jonas Scharf. I know you worked hard on this. You're probably a very well-respected artist, but I do not like the way that this art looks for Power Rangers.
It's too much shadowing. That's what it is.
It's too dark. It's depressing.
Yeah.
And the Rangers
very dark shadows.
Yeah, and I mean,
like that, like Tommy's face right there in that panel.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous how much shadow they put on everything. But Grace comes and they're like, listen. You're the Power Rangers. I was a Power Ranger. So believe me when I say I have the best intentions for everything out here. So come to my private fucking science island and I'm going to show you some cool stuff. Which, I gotta be honest, Homegirl has a floating science island.
Yeah. She's practically a supervillain.
She is, absolutely. There is nothing in this story that paints Grace like she should be a hero.
No.
But goddamn it, she's cool. So she brings the Rangers into Promethea, which Billy says here, I almost had an internship here. That actually comes into play in one of the upcoming story arcs.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. Wait, no, we did talk about this, didn't we? When Billy was like...
It already happened. It already happened, didn't it?
Yeah, okay. I was confused because I feel like we had said we hadn't read up to that point. But yeah, Billy was offered an internship at one point. That was the Promethea thing earlier. Okay. So, yeah, so they reference, they call back to it, and Billy's like, yeah, I almost had an internship, and Grace's like, well, what happened? And he's like, other things came up.
Other things. I like how he's in the Power Ranger suit. It's like, other things came up.
And then I think at this point she pieces it together, and she's like, oh, this dumb kid. And then she shows off the underside of Promethea, the side that the public shouldn't know about. And they have some scraggly homeless dude in a cell, and they're basically like, look, okay, so check this out. This is Tony. Tony has a life according to his memories. He is has a lot of he spends a lot of time drinking. He loves his cat. Sometimes he'll go out to the movies, have a drink with friends. And Tony's just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just want to go home. And then, based on science and data that they have taken, Grace's assistant, Andrea, is like, all right, so check this out, guys. And right on schedule, he transforms into a giant 9-headed cat monster.
Which is pretty clever, actually.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Also in the 9-headed cats thing, great, beautiful. His name is Mr. Meowgi.
Yeah.
They name him Mr. Meowgi, and then they're like, okay, so now we kind of showed that we can see when they're about to transform, right? We've figured this part out. There's a science to it. Andrea, by the way, you can kill this one. Just end him now. And so she electrocutes it to death. And then it wakes back up and chases after someone and breaks out. And everyone just kind of stands around and is like, oh, wow, he's not dead. How about that? Huh. Someone should do something, probably, right? And meanwhile, Mr. Meowgi's just blasting his way out of Promethea. And so the Rangers are just like, all right, we gotta end this thing. So they just start decapitating cats.
We just gotta, Ranger things as we do.
Yeah, we just gotta decapitate some cat. Kimberly shoots a few exploding arrows at it, and then it's with each death, each time it dies, one of the heads dies, right?
Yeah, you see it like flopped over.
Yeah,
they show it.
So it's down to their last two, and everyone's arguing like, okay, I think we only have to do 2 more, right? And then a giant robot stomps down on it and kills the last 2.
Which, again, pretty baller.
Or 3, however many it is. Just curb stomps it in a giant, in a Zord. And the Rangers are like, dude, did you build a Megazord? And Grace is like, yeah, I did.
It's like, yes, I did, but not technically. I built a Mecha Zord.
Yeah, I built a Mecha Zord. And like, okay, Grace, we see what you're doing. You want to be different, but the same, but still different.
And copy your homework, but don't make it look like copy your homework.
Yeah, like that parody of Goosebumps from the 90s called Gooflumps.
I did not know about that.
Oh my god, I loved it. So I think they only ever did like 3 of them. But one of them was Stay Out of the Bathroom.
Okay.
And it was just a kid's sneaker floating in the toilet. There was no explanation. It's just like, oh, the toilet ate the kid. I wonder what happened. And it was the whole thing. Like, the thing is it wasn't like, it was R.L. Stine level of like freaky still, but it didn't take itself seriously by any means. It was good. I wish I could find them again. If I find them, I'll do a live dramatic reading on the show.
Okay.
And as Grace is flicking her bean while showing the Rangers everything, they get a call from Zordon. And Zordon has finally been retethered back to their world. And everyone's just fucking horny for it.
Yay, old man.
Old bald dude. Well, there's nothing that says Zordon's old. He's been trapped in a time warp for 10,000 years.
Oh, okay. Well, he's still bald.
Well, he's maybe that was a personal choice. Maybe that's what all of his people look like. You don't know.
Maybe that's all his people look like.
No, actually, genuinely, that's what all the Altarians look like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's a genuine thing. So you'll see in some of the later stories.
Oh, that's right, because we did see it. Well, no, that's actually the other Zordon we saw was actually Zordon, but in a different.
Yeah, he was just floating in blue. No, don't worry, you'll see them. I think in the story arc after Shattered Grid, or maybe the one after that.
Okay.
So, yeah, Zordon's been saved. The robot and the talking sword brought him back. Like Jesus. Now...
Like Deadpool. I'm just kidding.
Like Captain Deadpool. So, this next issue reintroduces a character. It's weird the way they do this. They introduce a character called the Wizard of Deception. Now, he was a villain in the TV show I think in like the first season, right? But he served a very minor role in the show. He's just like a villain of the day, right?
Okay.
And so it's weird to me that they make such a big deal about this being the Wizard of Deception issue, because they even put his face on the cover, right?
Yeah.
Which it doesn't make any sense given how little of a role, if I remember right, he has in this episode or in this issue.
It's just him talking to Rita.
Yeah, he talks to Rita. Rita picks up some magical trinkets and shit, and that's it. That's the whole thing.
All they get of him.
Basically. So yeah, she's in some magical, like, magic shop on the far side of the galaxy, and is like, "Hey, Wizard of Deception, with your face so gross, can you provide me with some of the good shit?" And she's like, "Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll help you out here. Just make sure you don't fail." So, while Rita's getting some help from a strange one-off character that they felt to bring back for 4 pages and put on the cover of the issue, the Rangers are just like, "Oh my God, Zordon, we've missed you so much. We did some cool stuff. We're heroes. And we met your old Red Ranger, Grace. You want to give us the full details on that, please?" And he's just like, not really. But if you want to work with her, I guess that's cool. So, Billy, basically the entire Ranger posse is working with Promethea, and they're just like, okay, so this is our day-to-day like internship, I guess, now, and on top of work and school and everything, like why not waste the last few precious moments of our lives here? And while the Rangers are all just kind of Prometheing it up, I guess, Saba, the talking tiger sword, is interrogating Finster. And he's like, "Okay, look, we're here in this like space of nothingness, and you are able to change it into whatever you want, but you're treating it like we've imprisoned you." And he's like, "I mean, you've imprisoned me here. Like, literally, this is a prison that you made so that I can shape it to what I want it to be. But it's boring. I don't want to do that. I want to create things outside. I like things to be out of my control." That's his stance. Is he wants to create things, but he doesn't want to be the one controlling the thing after it's been created. And in a weird way, it makes sense, you know, but at the same time, Finster's a little bit cray-cray.
Oh, he is. In a good way.
Oh, yeah, the best way, the murdering kind of way.
Yeah, it's good for his character.
Yeah, it's solid character design. While Finster's being interrogated by Saba, the Rangers are kind of enjoying a minute of peace for once.
Yep.
Around Promethea, before they get the call that there is, in fact, one of the beasts about to transform out in the world. And Grace is like, "I'm sorry we didn't give you more of a heads up, but we need you to save us right now, like right fucking now." So so they book it to fight, and meanwhile Rita has returned. She's home. She's like, "All right, now that we're home, let's fix up the castle. I know there's some damage from the Dragon Zord crashing into us, but we'll rebuild." And the monster, this is probably one of my favorite original monsters from this series that they introduce.
The sheep one, right?
Sheeple. So
yeah, Sheeple.
Sheeple is meant to be a parody of those like doomsdayer people, like the ones that see all the conspiracy theories, man.
Yeah.
And so the whole time they're fighting him, he is just spouting off conspiracy after conspiracy. Like there was only one Olsen twin. You know, you've got the obviously the Earth is flat. The Apollo landing wasn't real.
The shooter one is my favorite.
Which one?
Let me see. Did you get to there yet?
Let me see.
Oh, he said something about there was a second shooter.
Oh, the second shooter on the grassy knoll. Yeah. There was a second shooter.
Yeah, this needs a second shooter.
So the great thing is when like Sheeple can summon more like little baby sheeples to fight for him.
The fucking necromancer.
Yeah, that or he can turn people into it. And
yep.
I'm gonna be real with you. Just the fact that they made this whole villain whose entire shtick was Illuminati conspiracy theory type thing. It's so funny to me because the whole world is like being overrun by monsters. And,
yeah.
And this is the thing that they think would damage the world the most. Just crazy.
Outlandish conspiracy theory news just being shouted out.
Yeah. And then Billy's just like, "Hey guys, I got an idea. Do you want to see something cool I learned how to do?" So he teleports into the Triceratops Zord and like records the sheep, remixes it and tells the sheep remixes it and tells the little baby sheep to release the humans and to attack Sheeple while sounding like Sheeple. So Sheeple ends up getting eaten alive by all of his little baby sheepies, and then all of his little baby sheepies turn to dust. And they're like, "Fuck yeah. Hell yeah, Billy, that was awesome. By the way, we got another mission already."
No time to celebrate.
No time to celebrate. Also, we found like more of these guys, so we're gonna start police stating everywhere that we find one of these guys, like quarantining the shit out of places. And the Power Rangers are like, no, we're not gonna do this. We're out. And Grace is like, but no. But like, work with me here.
Yeah.
And while she's trying to convince the Rangers to like stick around for the next bit, just, you know, hey, we might need to team up again, Rita has summoned Finster. And Finster...
Yeah, he just like... He could have got out any time.
He could have left at any point. He had an escape route the entire time. He was literally just waiting to hear from Rita. Like, there's a level of power that Finster has that is underappreciated.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this and this comic does a beautiful job of illustrating that. Like, he is 100% staying in this prison on his own free will, and he is just being a sassy bitch about it the whole time. He's like, oh, you put me in this little boring glass box. And Saba's like, yeah, but you could do anything you want with that glass box. And he's like, ugh, I guess I'll just stay. I guess I'll just stay here in this glass box. Wish I could be anywhere else. And Rita's just like, hey, yo. And he was like, I bet. I'm out.
I'm out. Bye.
And so Billy and Trini are working with Promethea now to figure out where everyone is. Like, where all the transforming dudes are. And meanwhile, everyone else is kind of like, I don't think we can keep working with Promethea. Because they're keeping a lot of secrets from us as to what the plans of things are. And Billy starts doing some investigating of his own and comes across none other than Lord Draken being kept, like, imprisoned in Promethea.
It's like almost like they're using him as a power source too. That's what it looks like.
No, it's just electrical, like, gauntlets to hold him in place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're not siphoning off of him. I think more than anything, they're just trying to keep tabs on what his body's doing. And Lord Draken sees Billy and is like, well, look who come crawling back. And Billy's just like, no fucking way. You out of your goddamn mind showing up here. Now, I want to talk about issue number 24's cover real quick. Okay?
Okay.
So we have Lord Draken here in a very different style from how he is up here, because the cover artist is always the same, is never the same as the interior artist for the most part. Lord Draken looking pissed off at his broken ass morpher, right? We got Science Dude in the back adjusting his glasses. And we got two faceless guards, right? And then this woman is supposed to be Grace Sterling, right?
Right.
The only character I can see right there is oh shit, what's her name? From The Walking Dead. Maggie.
Okay.
Maggie from I don't know why I just searched Maggie on Bing. Grace.
Yeah, I see it.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
All right. Cool. Now that I've wasted enough time. So,
okay.
This is also the first issue of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to have the Shattered Grid prelude, or I mean, this is the only prelude issue, but it's the first to have the Shattered Grid logo on it, because this is the story that leads right into Shattered Grid. So there was Go-Go Power Rangers had their number 8 issue was the prelude, the prelude to this one.
But you mean like Mighty Morphin,
right?
This run.
Yeah. Okay. So if you recall, at the end of Go-Go number 8, that's when you had that weird Pink Ranger on standby, and I told you how everything will piece together once Shattered Grid gets here. This is everything piecing together from the other end. So
was it the Psycho Pink almost looking like?
Yeah, type? pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So Finster is with Rita, and Rita's like, okay, hold on. You mean to tell me you put monsters all over the world? And Finster's like, yeah. No, that's what I did. And she's like, how many did you send out there, and why? And he's like, well, I was trying to be creative. trying some new art styles, you know, giving these things free will, give them secondary mutations so that they turn into even bigger monsters. And Rita's just like, okay, I want you to turn all of them on right now. And I said, I'm not supposed to do that. And she's like, no. I want you to activate all the monsters and have them attack right now. And he's like, all right, I tried to warn you. And Billy's like, okay, so Lord Draken, you've been here in prison in Promethea for how long now? Months? And Draken's like, I can't even tell you because I've been here. It's dark and I don't know if it's daytime or nighttime.
Yeah. No, he has no sense of time.
Like, no sense of time. And are you playing fucking trading card game simulator right now?
Yeah.
I keep hearing the cha-chings and I think I'm losing my damn mind.
Sorry, it helps me focus.
No, you're fine. So Draken's like, all right, so what are you gonna do about me being here? And Billy's just like, man, fuck off. And then they get a call like, hey, 14 monsters just sprouted up all around the world. We're gonna need like all of the help because there's a lot of there's 6 Power Rangers. If all of us handled one monster, and that's if we could do it, we'd still be 7 or 8 short. And so
they're still outnumbered.
Yeah, they're so ridiculously outnumbered. And there's like a dude. This is just it's a corn cob with a flamethrower, a giant robot chicken, a demon flower puppet, a giant ball of fire, what looks to be a crusader with a giant mace, a ninja turtle,
a samurai ninja turtle.
Yeah, like Ninja Turtles, the 3rd movie, TMNT 3. A gazelle with a shield, a boomerang wielding kangaroo,
and a camel.
I think it's a zombie camel, and a Spinosaurus with a giant buzzsaw for a spine and chainsaw hands. Good luck.
Nuts.
Good luck, Rangers. I hope it works out for you. And while they're one-on-oneing all these monsters, Grace shows up in her Mechazord and is like, okay, look, we're teaming up on this. You go help somewhere else. I'll take care of this one first. And so they all start like just wailing on it, and one by one dropping them, right?
Yeah.
Before they realize that the monsters aren't fighting back anymore, and they're all falling down. Because, well, by activating all of them, they overpowered what Finster's capabilities were by all growing at once. And Rita was like, hey, what the fuck, dude? And Finster's like, well, I tried to tell you, but, like, you reminded me what my place was. So you clearly know better than I do, right? Just being a sassy bitch about, like, hey, man, hey, boss, this is the problem I've been warning you about for 3 months that finally became a big problem that you're just now noticing. I did try to tell you. And
he's just so much better than Rita.
He is. Without him, Rita's fucked.
No.
And, I mean, the Rangers aren't one to pass up the golden opportunity to fucking kill a bunch of monsters. And then they get back to the Mechazord Bay.
Promethea?
Yeah, they get back to Promethea and they're like, hey, so Grace, let's talk about the dude you're keeping in the basement. And she's like, oh, you found out about the guy in the basement? And they're like, yeah, we did. What the fuck, man? And she's like, look, to be fair, we didn't know that he had any relation to you. And Zordon's like, okay, guys, listen. I don't know what the hell's going on with Lord Draken being there, but we need to talk about this, you know, like Rangers to Zordon. So everyone regroups in the command center and are like, okay, so what's the next step here? Like, how do we deal with this giant problem of an interdimensional Tommy that wants to kill all of us? And I was thinking about it, like, if there was an interdimensional version of one of our friends that was trying to kill us, who do you think it'd be most likely to be?
What do you mean?
So, like, you know how Lord Draken is the is another version of Tommy, right?
Uh-huh.
If you had to pick one of our friends, one of the Sleepy Boys, that had an evil twin in another universe that wanted to kill all of us, who do you think it would be?
Oh, Key.
Key?
Yeah.
That's fair. I think this version of Key wants to kill us.
He's still way too nice.
Yeah.
It would technically be Key that has the other interdimensional evil being.
Evil Key.
Yeah.
Keyvil.
I was just gonna say it. I was just gonna say it.
So Saba, while overhearing all this, keep in mind this is the Saba from the universe where Lord Draken wiped everybody out. So he's pissed. He's got a vendetta against Lord Draken. So he teleports out to somehow. I still don't fully understand how the sword got there, but he's suddenly there talking with Lord Draken, and Draken's like, huh. Oh. Draken's like, huh. I didn't expect to see you here. And Saba's like, yeah, we'll expect this. And he shoots Draken with a laser beam out of his eye and misses. He misses, and it severs the power lines, keeping Draken's electric gauntlets in place. So Draken is free. And he breaks loose. And then he grabs Saba and decapitates him. So, like...
What a shame.
Like, that's the thing is, like, Saba is a sentient saber, right? But does that mean that ripping his head off kills him?
I guess. It should, right?
Maybe. So, Draken rips off Saba's head and just kind of tosses it on the ground. Unceremonious, doesn't give a shit, right? And then opens up a portal using Spanish. I don't know if that's actually Spanish. Is Despotrial Spanish?
Damn, okay, so this whole time he's been using Saba as his main weapon.
Who? Draken?
Draken? Yeah.
What do you mean all this time?
From like all the arts that I've seen.
Oh.
And the covers.
Yeah, you'll see. So yeah, he rips off Saba's head and opens up a wormhole to another place. Who knows? God knows. And then just before he leaves, he actually picks up Saba's head and takes it with him.
Oh, okay. So he does take it with him. So
yeah.
He may still be alive.
So here's the thing about Lord Draken that I've pieced together just from this brief interaction here, right? Lord Draken is not only like literally like he's on his own right now in this world, but like he doesn't have friends, right? I think that Lord Draken chose to take Saba's head with him because he's just a sad, lonely bitch.
Or he wants a trophy.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'd say taking the sword is trophy enough, wouldn't you?
Oh, true. Or unless he does know that he can't technically kill Saba, he just beheaded him.
Yeah.
So maybe he's gonna use him as another power source.
Huh. I'm not gonna leave you here to talk. But okay, so thoughts on the arc as a whole. This was one of my favorite ones of the early Power Rangers series because we got to see Finster in his element. Finster was like the centerpiece of this story, and I think that he executed it very well. Like he was a force to be reckoned with, which is not something you would have expected of him based entirely off of his appearances in the TV show, you know? I think the first half of the story had beautiful artwork. Unfortunately, the second half of it did not. It was gross and gritty and grimy, and it didn't feel like Power Rangers.
There was a lot going on that took you out of the story element.
Right. And overall, this is one of my favorite ones of the early ones, as I've said, but it sets up for much bigger stakes than what we've had previously. Like previously, like we were given very little like page time with Lord Draken before he was just conveniently defeated before. Now he's in the mainstream universe, where I would argue people are considerably softer than they are in his own universe. And he's also equipped with one of the most powerful weapons in this universe.
Yeah.
So I think shit's gonna get fucky, and it's gonna get fucky fast.
Ugh. That's just gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a real good time.